This week on Inside Boulder News, Boulder is named as an inaugural city of the 100 Resilient Cities Network by the Rockefeller Foundation, the Flood Recovery Art Project gains momentum, and the Boulder Bookstore teams up with the Poem Guy for a unique holiday shopping experience. Welcome to Inside Boulder News. I'm Ashley Prill. Does Boulder have what it takes to be a resilient city? We think so, and we aren't alone. Last week, the Rockefeller Foundation selected Boulder to be part of its 100 Resilient Cities network. Nearly 400 cities around the world applied for the chance to have access to innovative planning tools and resources for building resiliency in their own community. Boulder was one of the first 33 cities chosen and only one of 11 in the U.S. Challenging and exciting work lies ahead.
So the first step in the program is for us to work with Rockefeller and some of the technical specialists they'll bring to the table to develop a resilience plan, which is something that we have many of the components of already. And the next stage is then to start working on various elements of that resilience plan and to draw on some of the resources that Rockefeller is going to help make available by bringing together what they call a platform of services that will include access to financing, access to new technologies and softwares, access to other organizations. And then the last piece is, or another piece is that we'll be a part of this network of these cities that have been selected, and we'll be doing a lot of peer learning and exchange with those cities as we go forward.
To learn more about urban resilience and to see the other cities chosen, log on to 100resilientcities.rockefellerfoundation.org. And stay tuned to Inside Boulder News for updates about how the city plans to use these resources and seek community input. The Flood Recovery Art Project gained momentum this week with a public opening reception at the Boulder Museum of Contemporary Art. This special project is a combined effort between the City of Boulder and BMOCA to promote healing and revitalization through art. Over the past few months, the community has shared recipes, stories, and photos with multiple artists involved in the project.
We felt that the most important part of the project was actually that community interaction, and we wanted a lot of ways for people to access that. And artists, we were taking advantage of their talents in a time of need to process and to help with healing. For these many artists to access the public in many different ways was really an important part of the project.
The reception marks a jumping off point for the artists involved. For months they've done background work, interacted with the public, and now they're ready to start creating their art. We could see completed pieces as early as next week. For a more in-depth look at each artist's contribution, watch this month's Inside Boulder at boulderchannel8.com. You can also find more information at bmoca.org. Hundreds of families will be celebrating this week thanks to two local organizations. The City of Boulder Parks and Recreation Department's Youth Services Initiative Program and IAFF Local 900 are joining forces for the 8th year in a row to bring holiday cheer to children who live at Boulder's low-income housing sites.
We have been partnering with the firefighters here in Boulder, and they actually donate their personal money to this cause. So every year they do a huge fund drive, and then we take the money, and the kids actually write letters to Santa so that we don't waste anything. We want to make sure that sometimes, like I said, this is the only gift that kids get, and so we want to make sure it's something that they want and that's meaningful. It's not a lot of money. We usually make things go with $10 or $12 a kid, but we do it for about 500 kids. So any kid that's in our program and any kid that is a sibling of the YSI participants.
Toy donation boxes are located at the 3 City of Boulder recreation centers. You can drop off new unwrapped toys until Monday, December 16th. You can also donate money to the YSI program Toy Drive at boulderparks-rec.org by clicking on Youth Services Initiative Holiday Toy Drive. Any additional funds not used for the Toy Drive will be placed in the YSI Scholarship Fund. The fund helps provide access to year-round recreation programs for low-income youth. 12 years ago, Bill Keyes was at a party when he spontaneously wrote a poem for a girl he had a crush on. She loved it. Since then, he's written somewhere around 4,000 poems. Over half of those poems have been written on the Pearl Street Mall, where Bill is known as the Poem Guy. When temperatures started to drop, Boulder Bookstore owner David Bolduc invited Bill inside to provide personal poems for the holidays.
A beautiful poem touches you in your heart and it stays with you. A poem can be extremely inspiring and kind of get you through the week.
I've had all the topics, from the most intimate to the most ridiculous. And kids too, I've written some great kid poems, you know. I mean, I love the kids when they come up. In a general way, I can say that this is more the art of conversation and connection than the poem. This is what we connect over, but it's that, it's the connection that I really love and what I spend a lot of time trying to, you know, develop. You know, the fact that poetry is such a dying art in our culture is really a statement of what language is in our culture, which is, on a personal level, I think a lot of people don't have words for the nuances of the richness of who they are. For them to have any language at all that is something of beauty about them is of itself remarkable.
You can keep up with the Poem Guy and even order personalized poems online at poemswhileyouwait.com. To find out more about other special guests and events happening at the Boulder Bookstore, log on to boulderbookstore.net. Recently, Inc. magazine recognized Boulder for being a prime location for innovation and entrepreneurs. For business owners in the Boulder community, that distinction, while welcome, came as no surprise.
A lot of folks here on the ground understand that this is a hotbed of innovation and that there's so many new startup businesses happening everywhere in so many different industry sectors. But the wonderful thing about the Inc. article is it helps to communicate that to the globe, to folks who aren't necessarily on the ground and may have a different perception of Boulder as a wonderful place to live, but not necessarily understand that it's a great place to grow and build your business.
There's just an energy here where everybody's kind of connecting and thinking and forward looking and forward thinking, and that definitely feeds into the innovative spirit. And I think the university has something to do with that. I think the weather has something to do with it. I think the fact that we're in a small town, you know, has something to do with it. I think the mountains have something to do with it. It's kind of, you know, the perfect storm, but everybody, you know, in every sector is innovative here, from restaurants to retailers to tech companies to food companies.
For the full story on Evil Foods, as well as recipes, events, and more, log on to evilfoods.com. You can also help Boulder continue to advance as an innovation leader by joining teamboulder.org. It's a free way to stay informed and engaged via email. Thank you for watching Inside Boulder News. Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter by submitting news tips and questions. You can also sign up to receive video updates right in your inbox. Just go to boulderchannel8.com and click on subscribe.